So when the ha was happening, it was because I was going breath first and then into the without the visualization of the A and the H. And so when the A and the H is seen and it just begins as AH breath at the very same time, simultaneously, uh, 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 you see, there's no break in it in any way. There's no stagnation. There's no weird scratchiness or any of those things. And it's precisely immediate. There was no breath sound before it. That comes to the very fine-tuning, precise precision of the moment. And it's a very easy breath practice, obviously, but you may have great difficulty because when you come into this level of focus and precision with the moment, when you're trying to rest on that kind of a tiny space within the moment, you then start to have all the other things within your reality that distract you from being able to be there actually popping up, trying to take you out of it. And so you're going to have to then start working with the meditation of that within your moment. And so the breath, luckily, with the flow of the voice, is quite easy to keep yourself interested in and quite easy to let the thoughts and other distractions in life go. Even when somebody comes up to talk to you or just simply is walking by you, you can find out, do you adjust your tone? Do you pay attention to them? Which, again, adjusts the tone. Does it do this? Does it do that? It's really just a phenomenal active meditation in life, kind of more new agey and modern. But you'll find that it has extremely swift results. Now, this is one of the reasons why balancing yourself and your own direct experience is really necessary, and matching yourself to Bodhisattva's intention. That way, you have a center ground. Because the way that this can go, because of how effortless the flow, is a very powerful and swift motion into an understanding of presence and a frequency. But you're right now maybe about to enter in with only your mouth. And so it'd be wonderful if you can find out how this also goes with the body, but in a way of patience and presence again. So you don't really have an intention. If you're doing anything for or against in some kind of a manner, that can really lead. I mean, what would you be doing something for? I mean, for it, if, why? And if it's just simply for the purpose of for, and in the way of not against or in propelling of anything or any previous idea, like, okay, right now I'm imperfect, I'm going to change to this perfection, that may not be what we're talking about. We're really trying to rest here within what is already perfection in a manner, or we're not trying really, I mean, but this is what's going to be occurring once we find this kind of a focus of interest in our lives. This is the things that are going to start to fall and unfold. In some way, it makes it like seemingly unnecessary in which to explain and share this in some manner. But then it just seems to be the authentic thing in which I want to do most, and all the angel numbers and all the feelings. So you can have your choice and your decision. And based on your authentic decision, what is your most righteously desired action by yourself, actually? And if you desire to do something fucked up, then go do that thing. I just hope that you won't judge yourself so much by the doing of it that you keep doing it in order to prove to somebody or something or yourself that it was okay for you to do it. Which it is okay for you to do it, absolutely. It's just also okay for you to not do it. It's okay for you to learn and grow. It's okay for you to have been wrong. It's okay for you to have been right. It's okay for you to be, however it is that you are authentically. Even if you authentically can't accept yourself and your authenticity. That's all, no problem. So in this flow, we're breathing precisely with the ah. Now, I really wanted her to teach you guys that, not specifically because I wanted you guys to learn that practice for yourselves, because even though it's a pretty awesome practice for you to learn for yourselves, we're going to have a lot of really amazing, more specifically fine-tuned to the general nature of our society, So I know that she's, kind of a rudimentary teacher, but I think she did amazingly, phenomenally well. She was confident, really just a great expresser. And I think this is really going to show us how she learns and grows throughout the days, throughout the ages, throughout the time in which we're here hanging out together. And that's just amazing, wonderful, we're going to bring you into other practices and other things. It can be quite intense being around me, I have to say. It's absolutely true. I never stop growing and learning. I'm never stopping refining, and I'm very fast. And so, if you believe yourself to be a very fast learner, I also believed myself to be that, and now compared to before realization and the spinning together my energy, the way in which I now am receiving the processing of information, the pattern recognition, and the coming to fruition of realization, and so the great acceleration of my energy in every moment through every experience I'm constantly having is vastly different. Yeah, vastly different than before. Really working quite quickly. So if you're with me, I am learning at an increasingly high rate. So if we're learning something together, and you're not learning at an increasingly high rate with me, then I'm going to start overcoming you, in a certain sense. But I also make up a ridiculous amount of space with that. Once I do get free from the learning of the frequency, though, I then get to share the learning of what was going on with that frequency. And if you are receptive to learning and growth, you don't have to grow as fast as me, but you just have to allow my continued growing. And so once I share the learning that I've had with you, I then now have an opportunity every time it recurs for you to then bring up that awareness again in a more serious manner so that you learn faster. But also not force you to learn, but just constantly just express, like, this is fucking happening, and then be done. No judgment, moving along. Next thing, bam, 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 bam. Anyways, next thing, next thing, next thing, woo! Yeah! Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, I really want to get into that for some reason. It's like how I stop myself from feeling embarrassed. Every time I act like I can't do something, I just do that shit more. And I'm like, no, you can do that. You can. I'm like, all right, I can, man. I can. I can. I think I can. I know I can, motherfucker. I can. It's pretty cool. It can be intense. It can be a lot. I feel suppressed a lot of the time when I'm around other people because I'm kind of like really super expressive and they're kind of like learning how to like accept themselves so that they can be expressive. And I think that's cool. I think that's awesome because it's a symbiosis. You see, I have shit to express that would help somebody like that. And if I have shit to express that won't help anybody around me, I guess there's not really a reason for me to be around them. So good to be around folks that like my genuine expression, because what I'm learning right now is like the completion cycles of being in karma in a certain sense, or being completion cycles of duality or of illusory realities. I'm coming into the full blooming of my lotus here on video for everybody. I don't think anybody's ever been able to do it before. It's the first time we've had a modern day Buddha coming around, and I'm not trying to call myself a Buddha in an arrogant, crazy, expressive way, but I'm fucking Buddha. And the Buddha is the funny word about it. A Buddha. My name's Ryan. Everybody's a Buddha. Everybody equally. But I'm blooming my lotus fully in this lifetime. And so that means I will obtain what they call Buddhahood, or the full realization of self, or utter honesty, and actually most ordinary expression. Limitless emptiness, where I am already in a big sense, and I realize more deeply and deeply and deeply every single fucking day as I stop limiting myself from being whatever it is I happen to be, thinking that I'm some lesser judgmental style frequency than what I am really, which is the conglomeration of the entirety of consciousness expressing through a singular being perfectly for the benefit of everything, all of itself entirely, all of myself entirely. And I realized this. I've realized this in so many ridiculous ways. I've directly experienced this in so many ridiculous ways that I now am standing at an amazing place in centering and sharing the experience of that for the very first time here on video through the ups and downs of the process too, through the Facebook and then the previous YouTube channel, this YouTube channel. You can see how confident I must be to add things like these harsh chord shapes and teachings and frequencies to a video dialogue of myself. Either I'm an insane person, extremely genius, complete idiot, I don't know, a liar, an orchestrator, who knows, I'm not sure. I guess I could be possibly anything to anybody's perceptual frequency, actually, as it turns out, as I start to roll out the possibilities of everything, quite limitless, really. So yeah, maybe I'm an ignorant fuck and I know nothing. Who knows? But luckily for me, I have a ridiculous confidence based on experience that has been building for many, many, many years now. In fact, the entirety of my existence, my whole of my life. I can bring teachings through the entirety of my whole life and every experience I ever have. They say that's what masters do. I can't be sure. I'm quite young. Anyways. I like to josh things. I like to shame myself and humiliate myself in certain manners. And I like to say things in certain ways that are very helpful to me. And though it would seem as if I'd said nothing humiliating here, I just like to say any little subtle frequency that's based on not being said out of fear. And this is, again, the huge unlimiting of all my reality through the voice. It's the physical reflection of wisdom grounding here into form, eventually. And really always. How would words come if not from what was the limitless vast emptiness? It comes into form. Here we are. Woo! Using the breath. And so that practice we were showing earlier, so you visualize AH, and you stick with AH. And so you just stick with the ah. And that was a way to connect the breath with the throat in a big manner and kind of allow her throat to move more effortlessly because, she's really behind her expression on her throat, kind of like way back here, like, oh, kind of like this real little squeaky thing comes out like, I want to tell you something really important. And it's like she's actually maybe saying it at her highest volume. I don't know. But, and then she's cute. She's like, I got a high volume. And her high volume was like lower than my normal speaking voice, So I have also heard her singing in secret to the moon. And she has a very deep, beautiful, strong woman voice. And so I know that her voice definitely has the capability. It's just whether she has the comfortability to allow herself to move her frequencies authentically and intuitively as she is actually doing naturally, but she has not the confidence right now to bring it forth in the present moment. So we are agitating a lot of that forth within the moments that we happen to be in. And she has a really low level of contrast, and people in this reality have a politeness to them that don't allow them to agitate people into places of strength. But I know everybody's the Buddha, perfect, strong, and amazing, fierce, phenomenal beings. She absolutely is well. And so to cut out any kind of obscurations and with wrathful compassion or as the use of the voice, along with the entirety of the full authenticity of what's occurring, I mean, there's plenty of love and for energy. There's never an against. There's never a judgment being perpetuated. There's never a you are a piece of shit and you can't get things kind of a deal. There's always a ridiculous ferocity towards the ego identity, the story, the judgmental mentality, the lack of love for oneself within the harmony of what's happening with us presently. But
These are just the pointing outs of ideas and then the giving of material and wisdom as which to get through with them. And also the presenting of a chord shape that then provides an energetic momentum for somebody to transcend and overcome something that previously was impossible. I was thinking about myself in basic training when I was 17. I was thinking about her. And though I can't really put her through the type of ferocity and centering that basic training was, but I mean, you have a guy yelling at you like inches from your face, and you can't move from your one point of focus. You're going to learn how to not get triggered by external stimuli, you know. And if you are able to get triggered by external stimuli, you may trap up, go down, lose your ability to stand up for your sovereignty, to speak and say what it is you want in consciousness, and now you may become prey to very many things. And if you can just simply use your voice in a way of equanimity, in a way that's not an attack or defense, then you can always state your sovereignty, and you will never have to give away your free will. And you actually never have to and never need to do anything. If anything has happened to you, you have surrendered your free will. If something is taken from you, you have given that thing. And so we can find out how it is we're taking from ourselves and how other beings are able to reflect this for us, and how we're giving to ourselves and how other beings are able to reflect this for us, how other beings reflect for us what it is we're doing for us. It's pretty amazing. You know, and so eventually, by using our voice, we'll be able to find out how to just share with each other our authentic expression, and it will be the wisdom that actually everybody needs to route them with the greatest efficiency to the simplest, most easiest flow to realizing themselves as a perfect, shining light of gold. And obviously, that seemed form, but we're limitless. Everything obviously they're boundless and perfect, phenomenal nature is the greatest of everything embodied, along with the worst, but always as the greatest thing ever. That's not the greatest or the worst, but is everything entirely. The collaboration of every frequency is the entirety of every frequency. Is nothing exists outside of this to measure this. This is immeasurable. It is limitless oneness. It is the immeasurable one. It is the inexpressible one. It is ineffability itself. It is non duality. It is paradox in focus. Limitless consciousness, the heart of us all. Limitless presence, limitless awareness, limitless forgiveness, acceptance, unconditionality, everything entirely. Unconditional love for all beings everywhere without one exception. Om Mani Padme Hum, the heart of us all. The left and the right, the male and the female, the up and the down, the in and the out. Woo! And everything in between, wrapping it all together, the endless thought, the seam between all the dreams. Limitless presence, limitless existence. I mean, apparently we're going to say everything we can that is like attempting labeling it without being able to label it. But we know what we're looking at, don't we? I mean, I feel like I know exactly what I'm looking at right now, but I have no way to point at it. Even though I have. I said the heart of us all. I said all these amazing things, the center of everybody. The tightest and fastest frequency in the center of the toroidal field, the jewel that is in the lotus, the heart, the flame that is in the heart, enlightenment, sits on the tiniest pinpoint of a needle, the Halaruka maybe, or not sure. It's the heart. In between, everything. What shape, what form, every shape, not shape. I mean, not shape is a shape too. I mean, it's not shape. It's the shape of not shape. Anyways, yeah, I really wonder where we're going with this now. So we moved into the awe expression, into the expression of frequency, the uniting with it with the breath. Now this is a strange place for us to go into. I just wanted to make sure that we rounded that off in a good fashion, that we brought a big amount of impeccability to the transmission of that teaching, making sure that my pupil here, my dear friend, sister, lover, and guide, doesn't lead herself into any kind of weird, grounded karmic backlashes through not giving the entirety of an attunement. Now, this was not something she was doing anyway. She was just demonstrating something, as was the request of her master, or her teacher, or whatever, and so that's wonderful and really beautiful. And so here we are working in a symbiosis and a harmony, and this is the clearing of impeccability for the entirety of that frequency that was being transferred, for that frequency transferring. So, hats off. Love you all. And also, I know that she didn't want to do the breaths with you, but I thought they were kind of a good thing. Would you still like to do the breaths, or you don't feel able? Oh, you feel really sick in your stomach? I'm really sorry. Okay, so that's going to be a no. Well, breathe all the way in. You breathe all the way out. You breathe all the way in. You breathe all the way out. You breathe all the way in. You breathe all the way out. Observe the space in between the breath. Just observe it. Allow it to sit. Rest. Allow the uncomfortability before the space is done, and allow the in-breath to come naturally as it wishes to just tuning to the breath. Nice big inhales, exhales, all the way in, all the way out. Nice and easy and relaxed, not too forceful, just as it easily brings itself to the easiest way to the end, and the easiest way to the end. Easiest way to the beginning, the easiest way to the end, the easiest way to the beginning, the easiest way to the end. Effortless, effortless, effortless breath, following the breath, allowing the breath to naturally come in and out, allowing it naturally come in and out, allowing it naturally come in and out, allowing it naturally come in and out. Very good. Breathing in all the way. Now we just visualize that AH. Here we go. We just keep our visualizing on an AH lettering, and we do nothing else. We just allow everything else to do its thing. Breathing in all the way. Allowing it to come most naturally. Just as effortless as the breath was before. Eventually, you can switch the visualization AH point to the mouth, to the throat. Now, the is not as versatile a chord shape as you may expect, but it also simply depends on your hesitation. So once you can get that breath and that voice finely tuned to being a specific precision with themselves, now you can really allow them to become much more loose in their focus. Because you found the starting point so precisely, you can create that starting point to go to different lengths and durations. And you'll find how staying with the initial pulse upon entrance will cause either a downward slope, an upward slope, or a steady line.